mate, if you ain't getting this longer, then this one's for you.
Hi guys, and welcome back to EME TV. Yes, we're back, not like the general car park video. We are back where I actually did my first video, I think, here in my sitting room. And as you can see by the title, I'm sure we're going to be talking about what I essentially do when going to buy cars. It's a common question I get asked this by family, friends, and of recent actually I'll get asked this by individuals that come to buy cars off me. I had somebody come the other day and say, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I mean, I was just like, fair enough. So essentially, I'm just going to be going through steps and things I do and like to do, and I advise individuals out there who are trying to buy cars to do before you go and give somebody your hard-earned money for a car. Now, starting off, yeah, going all the way back. So what I suggest you do before even, you know, once you pick your car, what I suggest you do is not even talk about. What I suggest you do is actually research on the bad things that can happen with that car. Always do your research on problems that can occur with the car that you're looking at. It's always good to have a reasonable estimate and a reasonable idea and a good idea about what could potentially go wrong and what could sort of impact you financially before you get into a car. That's the first thing I would say. Of course, don't forget to ask about the logbook or the green slip, because you'll need that to obviously tax the car. It's good to look at the insurance as well before stepping into any car. Usually before I'll go and see how much insurance does cost, to just give me a rough estimate of what I'll be paying. No, the next thing I suggest is obviously going online. There's loads of places you can find the cars, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, Auto Trader being probably the most popular. And just find the price, see what they tend to go for, what sort of mileage you're looking at, how much you can get that sort of car with the mileage you're looking at, and so on and so forth. So have a good estimate of what you're willing to obviously spend and what sort of value you're going to get with the budget that you've obviously allocated yourself. Getting into the things that you do once you arrive at the car. So obviously there's things that you can, just before you can, obviously you can do this either when you get to the viewing of the car you're essentially looking at, or beforehand when you're talking to the seller. How many keys does the car have? Because that can impact the price. Does it have one key? Does it have two? So on and so forth. One thing that I stress on in probably every video that I've made, I think except for the first one because that was just an introductory video, I've spoken about this, which is service history. Make sure that the car you're buying has service history. Why? Why? If it drives fine, I mean, you know, if it drives fine and it gets me from A to B, it's fine. Well, essentially, service history is going to reduce. Let me not say it actually reduces. Service history essentially just gives you a good indication, a good idea of how well looked after the car has been over the past couple of years. So, in order for your car to, last as long as it possibly can, it would have had to have various different services throughout its life, depending on how old it is. Now, you don't want to go into a car knowing that it hasn't had service history and it's on, 50k, 60k, and it's not got a good service. It's probably had 1-2 services. The likelihood of that car actually being good for the next 10 to 15,000 miles is very, very unlikely. Whereas if you had a car that had been serviced regularly every year, it has the one service that most cars should, or up to 10 to 12,000 miles, so on and so forth, you know that car is essentially going to last you longer. And it's less likely that you're going to have problems with that car moving forward, as long as you look after it as well and service it yourself. I know a lot of people don't really know about servicing and just buy a car and just literally drive it. And then when problems occur, they're like, oh, why did problems occur? It was driving fine before. Essentially, you always have to look after your cars. Well, service history being a thing you should look out for. Now, once you get there, normal checks, things that I do, essentially go around the tyres, check on the thread, see how much you've got left, or if any tyres are illegal. A quick way of doing this is what I actually learnt this from watching a video a couple years back, is you just get a 20p coin and put it on the tyre essentially, and if you can see the bottom, because on the 20p coin you've got like an inner line, if you can see the bottom of that inner line, if you can see the inner line in that 20p, the tyre is illegal. If you can't, then you've got a good thread on that tyre. So check the tyres, and then I check the oil level of the car. So you actually open the bonnet. If you don't know how to open the bonnet, obviously ask the seller. He'll obviously tell you he's owned the car before you. just hopefully you have some tissue, or the seller has some tissue, just get some tissue, wipe it, the dipstick, put it in, take it out, and it should have a low and max level, so you just see how much oil is in there. Usually, the darker the oil, the darker the oil, the more likely it is for that car needing to be serviced. So you probably have to, the lighter the oil, the more recent the car has probably had its service done, or oil's changed. Doesn't necessarily have to be a service, but certain people know how to change their oils themselves. Then, usually, some people don't like to get themselves dirty, but actually go around and get underneath the car and just make sure that there's no sort of cracks or leaks. A good thing for leaks as well is, once you open the bonnet, literally just get the seller or whoever you've come with just to give the car a couple revs and see whilst it's revving, is there any liquid dropping on the floor. It's always good to look out for that as well. You don't know if there's any oil leaks that can obviously cost you some money down the line. And at the back as well, I did a video about, I learnt this from obviously the Peugeot video that obviously I've uploaded. Go and check that out if you haven't already. That if there's any snaps or cracks at the back, any noises that don't really sound familiar, that don't really sound good, then obviously that's obviously something to watch out for as well. So just be cautious for that. Also, it's always good to check the number plates that are actually on the car, because sometimes that can be a good indication of if the car's actually been in an accident or not. Obviously there's a difference with cars that haven't been in an accident are fine, cars that have been are categorized, whether that's category D, category C, category S, category N. I'm not going to go into those in this video, but yeah, essentially if you look at the number plates, it should tell you the dealership that the car was originally obviously at when it was first bought, and it should have the original number plates if it hasn't been. If it has been, sometimes people just change the number plates because they want to, but it can just be a good indication of whether the car has been in an accident prior, or if it has been categorized in any sort of way. So yeah guys, that's just a little bit of advice on what I've obviously seen when I've been purchasing and selling cars also, and obviously the mistakes I've made along the way when I didn't really know. Thought I'd share that with you guys, so less likely you are to get conned. You don't want to be working hard and giving your money to individuals, and you haven't really done your checks properly, and ending up driving 20-30 minutes and having a car start smoking and lights on the dash come on as well. I'm sure everybody knows you don't want anything on the dash when you go to see cars as well. I haven't mentioned it, but yeah, make sure that there's no lights flashing on the dash when you go and view a car. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel down below. Please comment, like, any suggestions you have on future videos, please let me know guys. But thanks a lot for all your support, and yeah, I'm out. Peace.
Mate, if you ain't getting this one, then this one's for you.